Hello, it's Lion here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we're going to be doing another first impressions review. This was supposed to go up Monday, but it's going up Tuesday because I had to study for an exam, and I wasn't able to do it on time. So, yeah, today we're going to be looking at the Boxer. Number one, this is a manhwa. This was actually a webtoon, and then got printed physically by Iset Press, who is a subgroup under Yen Press. And it's written by J.H., or I don't know how to say that. I don't know if it's supposed to be like in English, how there's like certain like combinations of letters that still make a noise. And if this is a Korean noise, I don't know how to say it, so I'm just gonna say J.H. So there you go, yeah. I also don't know who this character on the cover is, but that's all right. It doesn't really matter. It's a pretty striking cover. I do want to mention something though. I don't know what this is called in English. I've heard people call it hot stamping because this is texturized differently, right? As you can see, it's shiny compared to the matte of the book. I don't know if it's because I've never really looked at that at these covers before, like properly, or if it's just that it's noticeable on this one. But there's a very clear outline between the red and the white, and it's just kind of like clear plastic. And I'm guessing that's how they applied this. It was some sort of sticker that then got pressed, and it doesn't come off the book, right? But it's clearly there under certain lights, and it feels kind of weird to be able to notice it. So I don't really quite like that, but as you can see, you guys can't tell, but if you look at it directly, it is noticeable, and it's kind of weird. But I think that's just because of this lettering, because back here, there's the same kind of effect happening, and I can't see the edge of this at all. So, I don't know. It's kind of odd, but it is what it is. It's not a particularly negative or positive thing. It's just something I noticed. It does kind of give me this sort of feeling of like slight cheapness, but that's just my gut reaction. It doesn't really feel like that at all. And honestly, I wouldn't have noticed it, except that I kind of held this at just the right light, where I could see this kind of light ring around all of the letters, right? So it is what it is. Also, there's a little bit of quality control issues here on the edge here. This isn't properly aligned on the book, and it's not the first time it's happened with Iset Press, but it's kind of annoying. It's not really a big deal, but it happens so often with every manga publisher that it's kind of annoying to just keep seeing it, because they clearly have the ability to fix these types of issues. They just don't. But moving on. The graphic here is teen. It says here just teen, actually. I thought it had a age limit, but it doesn't. And the genres here are martial arts and specifically boxing. And I can't really tell any other kind of genre besides that. Adaptations wise, I'm not really sure how this qualifies, because this was technically a webtoon first. And because the webtoons are vertical scrolling, when they get turned into books, they have to adapt them. They have to change them, right? So technically, this is an adaptation of a webtoon into a novel or a graphic novel, a comic book. But realistically, I think there's not really enough of a difference there for me to be able to call them different things. So let's say that it doesn't have an adaptation, although this was initially a webtoon that then got transferred into a physical volume, and so it had to change how it looks slightly, right? So there you go. Now, the premise of this story is basically there's this old guy. His name is Coach K, and he is old now, and he has one last student to teach him. So he has the ability to teach one more boy how to be a world champion at boxing. And so he's looking for this child. It's kind of like an All Might situation. He's looking for the boy that he's going to train and turn into his successor. So he goes to this random boxing gym, and he finds this one kid, and his name is Baeksan, Baeksan, and he's this very unorthodox fighter who happens to have this very interesting rhythm about how he moves. And he has natural God-given talent, basically. And this kid kind of has the generic, like, shonen protagonist vibe. Like Goku, like Luffy, they're kind of like the Sun Wukong type character. And the kind of interesting thing here, the kind of interesting thing is that he's also a bully. He's actually not a good person, but he is a very good fighter. And then Coach K meets another kid who happens to be outside of the gym, who happens to be a monster in human skin. It's this person that is so empty inside that he has this horrible, like, empty look in his eyes. But Coach K noticed something about this kid. He had this aura of, like, danger around him. And he also had this, like, almost supernatural, preternatural kind of ability to dodge people. And Coach K says that it's because the density of time works differently for this guy. So basically, these characters just happen to have, like, observation hockey, and that's just kind of how it goes, right? It is what it is. And this guy's name is you. And so the coach is like, here, this is how you throw a punch. I'm going to be here 1 month. And if you don't show up by then, that sucks. But I really want you to show up, right? And then we have a third character called NJ. Now, NJ is the son of a boxer. And he is someone that is bullied by Baksan, and someone that tried to befriend you. And so he's kind of this third character that appears to be some sort of rival character for all of these people. And also the impetus for why you will want to box, right? So it's really interesting. I actually really liked it a lot. I thought the story moved very well. The action scenes are great. My experience with fighting kind of martial arts based manhwa is pretty limited. It's just this and God of High School. What's the other one called? The Breaker. I think The Breaker is more like a manga, so that one's kind of, not really kind of comparable here. But I always have a complaint with God of High School that the punching and the kicking in that series, very artistically depicted, is really hard to follow. However, here with a boxer, everything was super clear and very well done. And I think it's mostly because it's boxing, so there's a lot less movements that need to be, demonstrated, right? It's mostly like bobbing and weaving, like the body, moving it sideways, up and down, and also just 2 or 3 different types of punches. I think there's actually more types of punches, but, usually everyone does a right, a hook, and something like that, right? So, yeah, my experience with boxing media is pretty minimal, but I do know, like, at least some terminology associated with boxing, so it was really easy to follow this story. And if you don't have any experience with it, it doesn't matter, because there's a glossary at the back that explains all of the terminology used in this book in very good detail. So you're not going to be lost at all if you read this, even if you don't nothing about boxing, right? So overall, this was a really good book. I really recommend it. The only kind of complaint I have is that the skinniness of this volume is a little bit off-putting for $20, but that's a complaint I have about most things. So it's not really all that relevant, honestly. I think it's great. I think you guys should read this. You can pick it up at Walmart or Target, I think, for slightly less than it would be normally. So instead of paying $20, you might be able to pay $16 or $17, which is not much, but it is a meaningful difference over the course of a lot of different volumes, right? At least that's how I picked it up. So it's possible to pick it up that way if you're in the US, and I definitely recommend you do. You can also read it for free on Webtoon. But, I don't know. The author says here in the back that ultimately, when he wrote this story, he was trying to write it for print publication in mind. So he thinks that this is even the best way to realize his work, but also the best way to have the greatest appreciation for the work. So, that might sway you, it might not. It might just be pretty words for the back of the book. But if that's how the author feels, and it's actually honest, I do think that this is probably the best way to go about it. But from an economic perspective, you can definitely read it for free on Webtoon, and it would probably be the best way to do so. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I definitely want to pick up the next volume, and that's really all there is to say about this. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know your thought. And thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.